Welcome back to Bobby Hopkins Field, getting set to play game number 2 of the day. The Wildcats taking on the Sullivan East Patriots from Upper East Tennessee. Here's your starting lineups. First off, for the Patriots, leading things off for them will be Avery McCoy. He'll be playing second base. Zach Johnson will be the pitcher, batting second. Blake Hayes batting third. He'll play first base. DJ Carrier batting fourth. He is the center fielder. Jonah Smith is batting fifth. He is the third baseman. Looks like Chaz Carrier is the left fielder. He'll hit sixth. Peyton Lingerfelt is the shortstop. He'll hit seventh. The designated hitter will be Ethan Hale. He'll be hitting for the right fielder, Caden Hicks. And TK Chandler is the catcher for the East Patriots out of Upper East Tennessee. Pitcher for the Wildcats today is senior Alex Franklin. And we are about to get game number 2 underway here from Bobby Hopkins Field on this beautiful day for baseball, beautiful day for everything. Good Friday as Alex Franklin prepares to pitch. The Wildcats have Camden Welch at first. The second baseman for the Wildcats is Noah Wood. The shortstop is Caden Black. And the first pitch of the ball game is a called strike. And we are underway with game 2. Mikey Teasley is the third baseman. Pitch is hit foul. Back to the screen. Cy Stevens is out in left field. Warren East is in center. And the right fielder is Richie Ferreira. And the catcher is Kyron Welch. The second baseman is actually Parker Free as I look out on the field. That pitch floats in there just a bit high. And the count is 1-2. My apologies, Parker. Noah played in the first game. Parker played catcher in the first game. He is playing second. That pitch is hit foul. Down the third base side, and count remains at 1-2. Sullivan East, one of the last surviving Sullivan high schools. They've closed Sullivan Central, Sullivan North, Sullivan South. Sullivan East is the last surviving. They kind of consolidated those schools. Sullivan East still around. That pitch is hit again, foul.
Westridge is the new high school, I believe.
Yes, and I would have thought that team would just be tearing it up there against Science Hill, Dobbins Bennett, and those, because there was 3 pretty good-sized schools anyway. As that pitch comes in high and tight, and the count is even at 2-2.
I guess it must have been a geographic thing that Sullivan East was the one remaining, because I think Sullivan South had a little bit, maybe more tradition.
Yeah, they're way out in the boonies, actually, as that pitch is high and inside. And it wouldn't have made sense, honestly, for them to commute all the way there.
Sullivan South, though, I believe, has to go through Kingsport to get to Westridge.
Yeah, it's pitch. Calls strike 3. And that is the first out of the inning. Run right at the belt, and the count was 3-2, and he just took strike 3, and that is the first out. And a good start for Alex Franklin and the Wildcats. Batter now will be the pitcher, Zach Johnson. He's a big, tall kid, wanders in. I'm looking at the umpire and the catcher, Kyron Welch. He towers over the top of him. Right-handed hitter. Alex Franklin, the senior, right-hander, comes to the plate. 75 miles per hour outside the zone. The count is 1-0.
Good to see Alex back on the mound, David.
Yeah, I was in Atlanta on Monday when the Wildcats were taking on the Panthers, as that pitch is a called strike, 78 miles per hour. And you were telling me about, Alex was playing the outfield and kind of uncorked a throw, and it kind of hurt that shoulder that he just had surgically repaired as that pitch is hit foul to the right side.
Yeah, and he said just kind of broke a bunch of stuff loose, and I was talking to him, I think, yesterday, and he said his shoulder's actually feeling better than it did the past year or so.
Probably that scar tissue got moved, basically, I would guess. 1-2, the pitch. There's called strike 3, and that is the second back-to-back strikeout for Alex Franklin, both of them looking. Strike zone very consistent, and the batter now will be Blake Hayes, the first baseman.
Number 22, the first baseman.
Blake is a left-handed hitter, big burly guy wearing the number 22, facing the right-handed throwing Alex Franklin. 2 outs, nobody aboard. That pitch floats up high. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Looks like we've got a pitcher's duel in Philadelphia. That ball is hit in the air, left center field. Warren East, the center fielder, makes the grab for out number 3. So a great start for Alex Franklin. 3 up and 3 down in the first inning. We go to the bottom of the first inning here at Bobby Hopkins in this second game. The Wildcats taking on Sullivan East. Wildcats coming to bat, leading things off with Caden Black, Mikey Teasley, and Peyton Witter, and we'll be back for the bottom of the first in a moment. Welcome back once again. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Game number 2. The Wildcats won the first game 9-1. Caden Black leads things off for Oak Ridge. Caden had a really good game, as we talked about. The first pitch is a ball. He had a double, a single, and let's see, walked. He had another single. He scored 3 runs, knocked in a run, stole 2 bases. That's pretty good night's work. That ball is up the middle on the right side, and that is a hit. 3 straight singles now for Caden Black, and a great way to start the ball game for the Wildcats. And you would assume that Mr. Black will be running. Don't know much about this catcher, as the Wildcats have their leadoff man aboard, and the batter is Mikey Teasley. Mikey, in the 9-1 win over South Milwaukee, had a triple, a double, knocked in 2, walked once, and scored a run. Really good day for Mikey. We say that quite a bit. Caden takes his lead off of first base. Nobody out. We're in the bottom of the first. Throw over to first, and Black is back safely. This is actually not an official Oak Ridge ball game. This is a tournament ball game. I was looking for the administration, but the principal was here, but pitches on the outside half of the plate, but too far outside. In fact, Coach Gaddis told me this morning that Teresa didn't even put it on the schedule. This is just, they're just renting the field. So,
Little update from the major leagues there, David. Marsh just homered 2-0 Phillies.
Oh, that's not good. No. Braves kind of struggle sometimes in their opening ball game. Strider, was it off Strider? Can't stand the Phillies. Caden Black takes a bigger lead off of first, not going. That pitch floats in there for a called strike to Mikey Teasley.
Especially just after how the season ended last year.
And the year before.
Right.
But the good news is the Mets lost 3-1 to the Brewers. Was that the final score, I guess?
I hadn't looked it up.
Yeah. A lot of ball to be played. 161 after today for the Braves. I think the Mets got Well, let's talk Oak Ridge baseball. You can keep giving me the updates, but only the good updates from now on, though. Mikey Teasley back in. He'll be followed by Peyton Witter. Peyton had a 4 RBI game. Canes taking a bigger lead at first, not going. The pitch is hit foul on the right side.
You're good.
And the count is 1-2.
Just run her over. She probably deserves it.
Are we crowding you out, James? I see the camera seems to have slid a little bit more towards you.
We're good.
Pitch is cut on a miss, and Caden's going to attempt a stolen base, and he's got it. But Mikey is down swinging for the first out of the inning. And the batter now will be Peyton Witter. I mentioned Peyton had knocked in 4 runs in the first ball game. And let's see, he had a double, 2 doubles, a single, stolen base, scored a run. He is the designated hitter today. He is hitting for the pitcher, Alex Franklin. Runner at second base. 1 out. And the pitch. Bounces away, and Caden's at third. Say that a lot. Takes a big turn around the bag at third. He is at third base with a 1-ball, no strike count on the batter, Peyton Witter. Peyton will be followed, looks like, by Parker. Parker playing second base in game number 2.
If Peyton can put anything maybe over the second baseman's head, there is a huge gap there in right center.
Yes, there is. The big righty comes to the plate, hit foul. Out of play to the right side. Doubleheader baseball. It's a long day here. There was a game actually before our game. We saw the Hall's High Devils lose their ball game. 2-strike pitch is down low. The count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Ingleville, 13-7.
13-7, Eagleville. Okay.
Yes.
You said near Shelbyville. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You went to middle. You would know that.
Yeah, it's on the south side of I-24.
You know, Brian Leffler went to Lenore Ryan College, University, up in North Carolina. He's our trainer. He's in the booth today for a few moments.
Tommy Orndine coached there too as well, right?
He did. As that pitch is called strike 2. I thought there might have been 2 already. That's probably Brian's in the booth to make sure Peyton doesn't have an accident like fall down, trip over his feet. What do you think? Pitch to the plate is down low, a ball.
You know, we would like to pick on Connor more.
But Connor's never in the booth.
That's what I'm saying.
And Peyton.
Peyton said he's more committed.
Yeah. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner at third. Scoreless game. Bottom of the first. The pitch to Peyton. Hit in the air. Shallow left field. The center fielder calls for it. The left fielder, nobody catches it. It is a bloop single for Peyton Witter, and that's an RBI for him.
Witter singles in.
And the Wildcats lead it by a score of 1-0. And Bashan is all over it. Sean, you are really good at your job. He does the camera work. He does the scoreboard. He talks occasionally. But when James is up here, he doesn't get much of a chance to talk.
It's whatever. I got to do what I got to do.
That's true.
Yeah.
Runner at first, Peyton Witter. He's got average speed for the Wildcats. Pitch is hit on the ground by Parker. They have 1 at second and not in time. Oh, they called him out. There is no way in the world. He was safe on that one, and replay will show it, but he called a double play. Parker beat that one out. Umpires are human for sure, but Parker definitely beat that one out. But
Yeah,
that is a double play. We go to the bottom half or the top half of the second inning. The Wildcats lead it by a score of 1-0. We'll be back to Bobby Hopkins Field in a moment.
fielder, number 10, DJ Carrier.
Welcome back to Bobby Hopkins. The second inning about to get set from the Oak Ridge Baseball Complex. Oak Ridge enjoys a 1-0 lead. Caden Black scoring the first run of the ball game on a Peyton Witter bloop single in the left center field. Alex Franklin begins his second inning of work. He retired the Patriots 1-2-3 in the first. He'll be facing the center fielder DJ Carrier, Jonah Smith, the third baseman, and Chaz Carrier, the left fielder, the first three scheduled in the Sullivan East lineup. Infield in at first. There's a called strike at the belt, and the count is 0-2. I'm not going to pick on the umpire, but Parker looks safe on that one. I mean, it's bang, bang, I know, but he looks safe, and I'm not going to harp on it too much. But and everybody makes mistakes, but I think he missed that one, honestly.
That, and I think it, to go from third to second to first takes a longer triple or double play to take place, and if you're not quick about it, kind of delays the call maybe.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Thought he was going to ring him up there. He was a little low and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out, nobody on. Top of the second. Alex Franklin, ball hit right back up the middle. Kind of glances off the mound to Caden Black, who throws him out at first. The ball hit the side, the third base side of the mound, and kind of glanced and kind of bounced in Caden's direction, made the play a little easier for him. And that is the first out of the inning. Jonah Smith is the batter, right-handed hitting third baseman. Alex Franklin, senior, had shoulder surgery in the offseason. We were talking about his injury before the game, and just like it was yesterday, I remember we were here, and he threw a pitch, and the ball went sailing out of his hand, and he had torn something in his shoulder, and he had shoulder surgery, missed the latter part of the year, and maybe the last 3 weeks, maybe not that much, but as the ball is hit to center field, right to Warren East, who makes the catch for out number 2. And he's come back, and James told us a moment ago that he told him in class yesterday that his shoulder feels as good as it has in a couple years. So I guess after getting a little scar tissue loosened a bit in the ball game Monday against Powell, when he was playing the outfield, he seems to be throwing well, and he's been pleased with the way he's pitched. As that ball is hit on the ground, that is the first hit of the ball game for the Sullivan East Patriots. It goes into left field, and 2 out base runner for Sullivan East.
Carrier singles, bringing up the shortstop, number 8, Peyton
Lingerfeld. Lingerfelt is the batter now. He is the shortstop for the East Patriots, wearing gray baseball pants, red jerseys, blue numerals with white trim. The Wildcats wearing their black tops with white baseball numerals and their high red socks. Pitch is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, the count.
Going back to what you were saying a moment ago, David, might have been one of the things that kind of hindered Oak Ridge a little bit in the postseason was Alex not being able to pitch, because he would have been another guy for us.
By the way, while you were gone, did you see Eddie Tan down there and how big he is?
I didn't.
He is jacked. I mean, he has been in the weight room. I mean, I don't know if he's still here. He might be still in the dugout. He is still in the dugout there. See those arms sticking out of the dugout?
I do.
As that ball is hit in the gap, Warren East is going to field it. They get the green light, and here he gave him the green light, but he did not go, and it's probably wise because the ball came into Caden Black. I saw the third base coach. He was waving his arms. Maybe he was talking to the guy at second. That is a double, and back-to-back hits for Sullivan East. And here comes Ethan Hale. He is the designated hitter today for Caden Hicks, the right fielder. Runners at second and third. Wildcats won the first game 9-1. They lead in this one 1-0 in the second. Alex trying to get out of trouble. That breaking pitch is in there for a called strike.
That was a great pitch there.
It was.
A lot of break to it. Started almost at the hitter's elbow and finished toward the middle of the plate.
One strike the count, the pitch, another breaking pitch. This one just a little low, I think. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Alex works from the stretch, checks the runners. The 1-1 pitch is a ball. Outside and low. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You know, Jacob, a couple years ago, changed his motion a little bit as he threw, but he was able to get a lot of movement on his pitches as well as Alex is here today.
Kai with the sign. Alex has a 2-1 pitch on its way. Outside again. 3 balls and 1 strike. After cruising through the first inning and actually cruising through the first 2 batters, he retired them in order. He gave up a single and a double, and he's fallen behind the number 8 hitter in their lineup. 3 balls and 1 strike. Franklin to the plate, cut on a missed. That would have been ball 4. It was inside on him, maybe a little high, but he took a swing at it, missed it, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs, 2 on, 1-0. Oak Ridge in the lead. Pitch, cut on a miss. He recovers to strike out Hale for his 3rd strikeout of the ball game, and they strand 2 runners on the base paths. We go to the bottom of the 2nd inning here at Bobby Hopkins. Beautiful day in Oak Ridge on this Good Friday. Hope everybody's going to have a great Easter weekend. So far, so good for the Wildcats. They win the first game 9-1, and they lead Sullivan East 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 2nd. We'll be back on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, in a moment.
First baseman, number 23, Camden Wells.
Here's Camden Welch stepping in, sophomore, playing first base in game number 2. His first plate appearance. Good job by Alex to get out of that inning. I mean, he got the first 2 guys, James, pretty easily, and then a single and a hard hit double, and then he fell behind with 3 and 1 count, and then got 2 straight swinging strikes. That ball is hit off the end of the bat. Oh, nice play by the pitcher. He throws on the first in time. If not for his size and height, that pitcher might go over his head, and Cam might have had a base hit, but a good play by the Sullivan East pitcher for out number 1. Better now is Cy Stevens. Try to remember what Cy did in the first ball game. He walked and scored a run. Wildcats won that game 9-1. Right-handed hitter. He's a junior. Pitch, breaking pitch in there for a called strike.
Yeah, to your point, David, what you're going to get out of Alex, you're going to get several hittable pitches there, and just gave up a single and a double there, and put runners in scoring positions. But, when you have a veteran guy like Alex, a senior that's been on the mound, been in those situations before, he didn't get rattled and kind of stayed locked in.
1 strike the count. Cy, pitch, cut on and missed. It's easy to tell, you can tell when, except that the other night when we couldn't tell, when Izzy's out in the field, or Camden Britton, whoever's in left field, kind of hard to see sometimes in the night ball games. When Cy's out in left field, it's quite easy to spot him. Those shoes will get me every time. I mean, they reflect the sun big time.
That's they definitely draw your attention to him.
He's behind in the count, and he strikes out. And strikes out swinging, and that is the second out of the inning. And the batter is going to be Kyron Welch. Kai played in the first ball game. Kai, let's see, walked 2 times in the ball game, and he stands in 1-0. The Wildcats in the lead. Here in the second, the pitch, that's down low a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. We will not broadcast the ball game tomorrow. It's not because it's so early in the morning. What is it? Did I hear
10 a.m. I believe.
10 a.m. That's pretty early, but it's going to be another great day tomorrow as that pitch is evidently a low and inside, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. We will not broadcast tomorrow. We will broadcast on Monday and Tuesday of next week in the Central ball games, but not tomorrow against Portland. Ball hit on the ground, shortstop. Got his glove down on it, throws on the first, and not in time. He drew the first baseman off the bag with an errant throw, and Kai reaches base safely. Batter now is Richie Ferreira. Richie didn't play in the first ball game. Batting in the number 8 position. He is the right fielder. He has started about every other ball game as Izzy Mitchell is going to run for Kai. See where Richie can get something in the gap. If he can hit one down the right field line, there's a lot of room. I'm looking where the right fielder is positioned, and he is way away from the line. If Richie can get one down the line, I think Izzy will score because the right fielder is going to have to come a long way to come over and get it. Here's the pitch. Izzy's going. The pitch is a strike. Here's the throw, and that is a stolen base for Izzy Mitchell. Izzy has a couple of stolen bases in the first ball game, I do believe. He's in scoring position in a 1-0 ball game in the bottom of the second inning. Richie Ferreira, right-handed hitting junior. Started most of the ball games this year. Started a lot of them last year in the outfield. The pitch, cut on a miss. His right hand came off the bat as he took a hard swing.
A little bit of a different position for Richie this year. Warren East moves to center field. Richie moved over to right. Richie was the main center fielder for us last year.
1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch. He says outside corner for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. And now Izzy. He just caught the Sullivan East Patriots napping and just kind of wandered over to second on a delayed steal. So he's at third base, but Richie's behind in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Heads up play there, David.
Yeah, I mean, and there was nobody covering, and Izzy just took off. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch hit foul off to the left and out of play. I was surprised that before the game, the Milwaukee ball game, I thought, well, they're not going to have many fans here. But when they left, I saw a whole bunch of them walking out. It's a long trip from Milwaukee, but the weather is so much nicer. As we mentioned, it was 39 in Milwaukee today. Cut on a miss, and Richie goes down swinging for the 3rd out of the inning. The Wildcats pick up a base runner. They leave him stranded. We go to the top of the 3rd here at Bobby Hopkins. The Wildcats on top of Sullivan East 1-0. We'll be back to Bobby Hopkins in a moment. Top of the third inning, TK Chandler, the catcher, the leadoff man in the third. He's the number 9 hitter, takes a strike at the belt, and the count is 0-1. I'd say in the next week or so, those trees are going to be fully engrossed in leaves. As the green's starting to bud, as the ball is hit on the ground, third base side, Mikey Teasley throws across the diamond in time for out number 1. One thing I like about Alex, I mean, he pitches to contact. I mean, he'll get a few strikeouts here and there, but he keeps the ball down. He keeps them off balance. He has some good breaking stuff. His fastball is good enough to get some swings and misses, but he pitches to contact, and he's got to count on a very good Oak Ridge infield, especially this group right here. You know, Noah's good at second too. This is a very solid infield for the Wildcats.
Very solid infield. You're absolutely right. A lot of what Alex tries to do is keep his pitches down, so hitters kind of have to roll over it or lift it really high.
Yeah, last year I think the only graduate, obviously Tyler Pickens, who played some first, and then there was Jason Slay. As that pitch is hit, foul territory, Camden Welch makes the one-handed grab, and that is out number 2. Better now will be Zach Johnson. He struck out looking back in the first inning. I want to know where Eddie Tan's been working out. I mean, he obviously hadn't been working out with Vashon because he is huge. Here's Alex's pitch. That pitch is a breaking pitch outside.
A lot of our guys that want to pursue baseball after high school, a lot of them go to BC Athletics and work out over there near Hardin Valley, I believe.
And that's where he came from, as there's a called strike. Evens the count at 1-1 strike. Nobody on, 2 outs. We're in the third inning. The Wildcats in the lead by a score of 1-0. Breaking pitch and just a little low and inside, and the count is 2-1. Appreciate all the people who watch our broadcast. As I mentioned, we will not stream the ball game tomorrow against Portland. We will Monday and Tuesday. Pitch hit foul off his hands, out of play, and the count is 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Johnson, the batter for the Patriots. And here's the pitch from Alex Franklin. That's low, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. He's given up 2 hits. He had some 2-out trouble in the second inning, gave up a single and a double. Ended up striking out the next guy. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Hit foul weakly over the top of the press box and out of play. This is probably our best weather day so far this season. It's definitely, pushing 70. We mentioned, I've said it several times, the Milwaukee team, it was 39 in Milwaukee. That pitch is cut on and fouled back to the bricks right behind the plate.
This is the baseball weather you want to be playing in right here.
Yeah, it's not too hot, and it's definitely not cold. The wind's not blowing. I mean, the flag has been limp on the pole the entire game, and every game we've done from here this year, the wind has been blowing. Alex Franklin to the plate, and just a bit outside, and that is ball 4.
Johnson will take his base there.
Yeah, that was a good pitch. It was just barely. If it was off the plate, it was just by an inch or so. Not a bad pitch at all for Alex Franklin. So they've got another 2-out base runner. Batter now is the first baseman, Blake Hayes. He flew out, actually lined out to Warren East back in the first inning for the 3rd out of that first, and he rips one just foul, just outside the line, and just barely. I mean,
was that
just
a makeup
barely.
call?
What's that?
Was that a makeup call?
I'm not sure.
That kind of looked fair to me,
It
David.
kind of did, but he has a good view of it right down the line. But I think the Sullivan East fans thought it was fair. It was close. I mean, and back to the bag will go the runner, Zach Johnson at first, and just a noisy strike. No balls and 1 strike, the count. Timeout is asked for by Blake Hayes. Hayes is a big, tall guy.
Do you know what level they play in?
They are.
What division, I guess?
I believe they're 3A.
3A.
I believe they're 3A.
Who's their main competition? I guess Greenville.
Teams up that way, yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot of them. I mean, they're. It's kind of a. You've got either big or small, like Tennessee eyeballs hit on the ground to Parker Free, fields it, throws on to first in time for the third out of the inning. So they pick up a base runner on a walk. They leave him stranded once again. We go to the bottom of the third inning. The Wildcats on top of Sullivan East by a score of 1-0. And we'll be back on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. The Wildcats will send to the plate the number 9 hitter, Warren East. He'll be followed by Caden Black and Mikey Teasley. A little bit different kind of ball game than we've seen the last two. Last night, the Wildcats beat Sevier County 9-0, and they won the first game today 9-1. A little different ball game, a little bit more of a pitcher's duel going on right now.
Yeah, and the Wildcats, had runners in the first inning and just weren't able to get any more across the plate, and then we had one runner there in the second.
This is Warren's first plate appearance of this ball game. Like I said, Caden Black's on deck. Ball's cut on and missed, 78 miles per hour. And he falls behind, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Warren's a freshman. Pitch to him. Hit barely off the end of the bat. Stays alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Caden singled, had a stolen base, scored a run. The Wildcats' only run to lead it 1-0. Emmett's out. He's off to baseball practice. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch to Warren East. That's down low. An 80-mile-per-hour pitch. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Connor left us, didn't he? I guess it's Peyton all alone. Let's be nice to Peyton the rest of the way because he is the guy right now. The Braves have just tied the ball game 2-2 against the Phillies, and Warren East is heading south as he's heading towards first base, being plunked in the back there. So he's on base. Good start for the Wildcats. Bad start for Warren East.
Stepping in now for Oak Ridge, shortstop, number 11, Caden Black.
Adam Duvall with a double to knock in the 2 runs to tie the ball game.
You know, I don't think the Braves ever really should have gotten rid of Adam Duvall. He was fairly productive for the Marlins when he went down there both times.
It's the same with Jesse Chavez. I don't know why they just don't keep them, because as there's a stolen base on a strike and down to second will go Warren. Adam Duvall, this is like the third time the Braves have let him go and brought him back. And then and Jesse Chavez is the fifth time he's come back.
I love Jesse Chavez.
Yeah,
He's great.
40 years old, still throwing. He doesn't throw as hard as Mikey Teasley right now, but he throws strikes, and that's what I like about him. Lee, my cousin, he does not like Adam Duvall, though. For whatever reason, he does not like Adam Duvall. The guy led the Major League in RBIs 2 years ago, if you remember.
I mean, he can be streaky, but he's a good hitter. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't hang around as long in the major leagues as he has if you can't hit.
Right, and I'm glad that he's back, and he's a great clubhouse guy, too. I mean, he's a great clubhouse guy. And his son loves Blooper. I mean, they have some kind of crazy relationship. He doesn't care about anybody else on the team or anybody. If Blooper is in the house, it is Adam Duvall's son and Blooper. I mean, it's strange but funny. It's great. It's actually fun to watch. Actually, their relationship. And I'll tell you a story about that in a second. Let's see what Caden can do here. Runner at second, Warren East. He's heading towards third. That pitch is down low and no throw. Another stolen base. That's two in this possession. And Warren, he's a ball player. He's a freshman. For a little, and I say this respectfully because he's only 14 or 15 years old. He's not a big guy, but he's got some pop in his bat too.
Yeah, you can definitely tell from that home run he had at Bearden.
Pitch to Caden is down low. Blooper tweeted when they re-signed Duvall to the Braves and said, "Great news, coming back to the stadium," and he said Duvall's son and not Adam Duvall. So, and there's another. That's the fourth time in 2 days, less than 24 hours, that Caden Black has been hit by a pitch, and he has not. No home runs yet. Batter now is Mikey Teasley. Mikey, let's see, is 0 for 1 in the ball game. Now we're going to have a long conversation because the coach from Sullivan East coming out of his guys pitched pretty well to this point, and he looks like he is upset that he is about to be taken out of the ball game just by his body language. Although I haven't seen anybody moving in his direction, but I saw his body language when the coach for Sullivan East came out to talk to him, and I think he's going to stick with him. Second pitcher, he is right. It is a different guy. I see that he's more slender, but Wildcats have something going. They have runners on the corners with only one out. We will take a quick break. We'll be back to talk about things in a moment. Mikey steps in for the Wildcats. Runner at first is Caden Black. Runner at third is Warren East. 1-0 Wildcats have something going with nobody out. Caden's going. The pitch is on the inside corner. Here's a throw. He throws it into left field, and that's going to score another run. I mean, Warren really had not taken a really big lead off the bag at third, and he didn't want to throw down because there's no way he was going to get Caden, and he thought maybe the Wildcats had a play on. But Warren hadn't really wandered off the bag, and a throwing error allows Caden to come in and score his second run of the ball game. And Warren comes in. The Wildcats score their second run, and now Caden's in scoring position with nobody out. I don't know.
Not a huge fan of those type of plays there, David. If you're going to do anything, maybe like a quick snap throw back to the pitcher, or
Right, or
have the shortstop come over.
come about halfway between second and the mound, and
Yeah.
because I don't think Warren was going anywhere anyway. He was hardly really off the bag, and I saw the catcher hit his helmet, and kind of like saying, "Gosh, I should have done that." But so it goes 2-0 our score. It helps the Wildcat cause. Caden takes his lead off of second, single and a hit batsman. His two plate appearances today, and he kind of has to wander back to the bag at second. Both runs scored today by Caden Black, or one by Caden Black. Why do I keep thinking that? I'm forgetting about poor old Warren East, and I forgot him. I think maybe in the first game that pitch comes high and tight inside to Mikey Teasley, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, I think one of the things you made a point that Warren was our leadoff guy and Caden was hitting second for a while, and it's kind of an advantage having Warren down at the bottom of the lineup because he can get on base.
Yeah, it's kind of like two leadoff guys. I mean, you see that sometimes in the major leagues. Last year, I think Michael Harris, runners going to third, and here's the throw. It's another stolen base for Caden. That's his third of the ball game, and he's at third base. Still nobody out. Mikey Teasley ahead in the count. Was ahead in the count. I'm not really sure the scoreboard. Here's the pitch. Hit into center field for a base hit. I hesitated there for a second because when he hit it, I thought it was easily going to go in there. The shortstop came over. Ball goes past him, and that is an RBI single for Mikey and his first hit of the ball game. And the batter now is Peyton Witter. Wildcats lead it now 3-0, and for sure, Caden Black has scored his second run of the ball game. Peyton had an RBI single back in the first inning. Wildcats continue to get base runners on. Mikey takes a good lead at first base. Peyton stands in. Peyton's had a really, really good day. In the first game, he knocked in 4 runs. In this game, he already has an RBI. Good job for the junior. Mikey, let's see if he goes. He's leaning that way. From the stretch, not going. The pitch, now he is, because the pitch goes all the way back to the backstop. And the Wildcats have yet another runner in scoring position. They've already scored 2 in this inning to lead it by a score of 3-0.
Yeah, I think this is a time when maybe as a pitcher you just focus on what's going on at the plate. Pay attention to the runner, check him, but focus on getting outs and strikes there at the plate and not worry too much about who's on what base.
I thought you were going to say.
Who's on first?
I thought you were going to go through the whole routine. Do you know the whole routine? Can you do the whole routine? I don't know how they did the whole routine, to be honest with you.
I can't. Who's on first? I don't know. He's on second. No, I don't know who's on third. What's on second?
That's something you should play sometime. I know Mr. Solmonson used to play that in between innings sometimes. As now the runner's going to third, and that is another stolen base. And Mikey Teasley has his first stolen base of this ball game. Let me check what he did in the first ball game. Mikey did not steal a base in the first game. Peyton Witter has a runner at third, still nobody out. In the third, 2 runs in. The pitch. Oh, boy. Maybe a little low, maybe a little outside. Count is now 3 balls and no strikes.
David, looking at Oak Ridge's lineup, if you can get Kyron or whoever our 8-hole hitter is up and kind of going, and Warren comes up in that 9th spot, you're going to be in real trouble when it comes to the top of the order.
Peyton Witter walks. The Wildcats have runners on the corners, and timeout is asked for. And once again, we for sure going to have a pitching change. The center fielder is going to come in to pitch, and it'll be the third pitcher used. We'll take a break. Oak Ridge on top of the Sullivan East Patriots, 3-0 as they bat in the third inning. We'll be back to Bobby Hopkins in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. Third pitcher used by Sullivan East. Oak Ridge has runners at first and third. Wildcats with Peyton Witter at first. Mikey Teasley is at third. The batter is Parker Free. Parker 0 for 1 in the ball game. Well, honestly, he would have been 0 for 1. I think he was called out erroneously on a double play, on the back end of a double play in his first plate appearance. He bats here with runners on the corners, nobody out. Third pitcher used, and the pitch stays up high. Parker was kind of a tough luck guy back in the first ball game. I think the only guy that, didn't have a positive at bat. He reached on an error one time. Let's get Parker. Parker's been hitting the ball well. Hits the ball hard usually. Let's see what he can do here. The freshman playing second base in this game. The pitch to him stays a little bit high, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes.
Looks like a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick on the umpires. I wouldn't do that. 2 balls and no strikes.
Do you say that to, keep yourself positive about that?
I'm a positive guy. I try to, as Peyton's going, and that is going to be a stolen base with no throw. Might have been a little foul tip there to Parker asked for the count. I believe it is 2 balls and 1 strike. We'll give a stolen base to Peyton Witter. So the Wildcats have 2 runners in scoring position. Parker back in. 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch hit foul off the end of the bat, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Great to have Adam Duvall back. Still 2-2.
I'm assuming Philadelphia got out of that inning.
They did. Strider's out of the ball game. Pierce Johnson's pitching now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. That's high and inside. Full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Camden Welch is on deck for Oak Ridge. Middle part of the lineup. Parker, Cam, and Cy yet to get on base. The lower third. Well, Richie hasn't gotten on base yet. They've only had 1 plate appearance. The pitch to Parker. Did he swing? I guess they did. The Wildcats are going to score a run. And they're going to get Peyton Witter around third. And I'm not sure. I didn't see a signal that it was strike 3, to be honest with you. I don't know that. I think it was base on balls. That's what it was. The umpire did not make a definitive signal whether it was a strikeout or a walk. The catcher thought it was. He threw down to second, and the official comes out to talk to the coach. The umpire does. And I think the fans here, and I wondered, now he's going to ask for help, whether he swung or not.
I think Parker offered at it.
He did, but did he go all the way around? That's tough to tell. And that's why the catcher went ahead with the throw down to first. And, well, we'll see. We'll see what the ruling is here. It could be a walk. It could be a strikeout. They're talking about it. It's a long conversation. Shouldn't be this long. Either he did it or he didn't. I mean, seriously.
I think it's maybe just reviewing the scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a walk. And, I can hear the groans from the Sullivan East side. I don't know. It looked like he did offer at it. But I can almost hear the umpire, but
yeah, he turned away from us before we could hear the rest of the conversation.
I heard him say, hey, what happened was, and then he kind of turned away. So the Wildcats inning continues. Another run is put on the board. Oak Ridge scores on the throwing error.
It's kind of an unfortunate scenario there. Just you think you got a guy maybe in a strikeout situation, and runner comes home from third. Right,
and the runner advanced all the way to third, so this inning continues. We've got a 2-hour and 15-minute time limit. This conversation is continuing now. He didn't like it. He's going to have words with the field umpire, who was the determining factor whether he did swing or not. And whether he did or not, it's a moot point now. The Wildcats have Parker Free at first and Peyton Witter at third. And the batter is Camden Welch. Camden yet to reach base safely. Wildcats lead it 4-0 over Sullivan East. They won the first game 9-1. Good start for the Braves in the 8th inning. Leadoff double. Wildcats. Nobody has hit a home run. The Wildcats are going to they're going to get a stolen base as Parker steals the base. And once again, that time the catcher kind of looked to third, but he didn't want to release it. He has a throwing error to the outfield, which resulted in a run. 4-0 our score. You have something to say?
No.
Okay. Camden back in. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch inside. Well, it was inside, but it was inside corner for a called strike. And it evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Camden Welch is a sophomore. He's played the outfield, can pitch, plays first base. And really has slimmed down. I don't know if you've noticed that, James, since last year. I mean, it's almost as the ball ripped to right field. That's in for a base hit. Coming around third is Parker Free. He gets the green light, and he goes in for run number 5. The throw eludes the catcher, and Camden ends up down at second base. That is a single, an RBI. Parker scores run number 5, and he advances down to second, and the inning continues. There is still nobody out as the Wildcats bat here in the 4th inning. Batter now is Cy Stevens. Cy is 0 for 1 in the ball game. Wildcats in the lead 5-0. See what Cy can do. Hopefully that shortstop will stay there. That was an enormous hole. As Cy stands in. Pitch is high and tight. 1 ball, no strikes. Sean, you said what? 6-0 is the score. Thank you. That's why we have Vashawn Knowles here to keep me straight. 1 ball, no strikes. Tried to get Caleb to come today, but you know Caleb. Busy. What's he doing on Good Friday? Another track meet today, I guess, over at Hardin Valley. At Hardin Valley, yeah.
Sounds like an excuse.
Yeah, well, he's fun to pick on too. He's like Peyton, kind of. Oh, Peyton's gone. Maybe we picked on him too much.
We're not pitching right now. That's usually
pitch bounces away. Camden's going to head towards third, and he's in safely. Wildcats taking advantage, and as they normally do, they are as aggressive. They are as aggressive as any team around. I mean, if they get somebody on, regardless of the speed level, they're aggressive. They'll try to take that extra base.
Michael Harris singled, scoring Matt Olson there.
Good job. Matt Olson scores. Matt has been asking about home runs, and there's cut on and foul tipped, perhaps, and the count is 2 balls. No home runs, but small ball works as well. The Wildcats right now lead at 6-0. They've got a runner at third. There's still nobody out. This has been a long inning.
If something positive doesn't happen for Sullivan East, we might have to mess up our scorebooks here a little bit, David.
Oh, yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, it happens all the time when they bat around. Last night, the Diamondbacks scored 14 runs in 1 inning. Can you imagine scoring that one?
Who were they playing?
Was it the? I looked it up actually, but I can't remember.
That's just 14 and 1.
I think it's a major league record too. It should be anyway. I mean, that's just crazy. Ball is hit well to right center field. The right fielder back on it, not back far enough. It's over his head. Camden is heading in to score, and down at second base is Cy Stevens with an RBI double. Maddox is doing the scoreboard. He says this game is starting to get boring. it is now 7-0. Wildcats just rolling up runs. I was talking with James and Vashon earlier how this game, was unlike last night's game. Oak Ridge won that one 9-0, and the first one today was 9-1. I said it was a pitcher's duel, but all of a sudden it's an Oak Ridge slugfest here. They've got 7 runs on the board and still batting. That ball's ripped to left, and it's going to drop in for another base hit. And not far enough to score, but that is a single, and the Wildcats are going to advance, try it, and they will. Wildcats took advantage as Kai has a single and advances to second with a great hustle. He saw the throw come in. Cy advances to third, and he'll be replaced by Izzy Mitchell. So now everybody except this guy has gotten on base, and here's Richie Ferreira. Richie has a couple of opportunities to score a couple runs with a base hit. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Did not play in the first ball game. Playing right field today. 7-0 Oak Ridge over Sullivan East from Upper East Tennessee. Richie rips one to the gap again. It's going to drop in for at least one. 1 run will score. 2 runs should score. Cy is in to score, and so is Izzy Mitchell, and Richie Ferreira has a 2 RBI double.
Ferreira doubles in. Izzy Mitchell and Cy Stevens.
And it is now 9-0 Oak Ridge. So Kai comes in to score. Cy Stevens comes in to score, and this inning continues. We still have nobody out as the Wildcats step in with Warren East. Warren was hit by a pitch his last plate appearance. Right-handed hitter stole 2 bases, and he hits 1 foul off to the right. Good to see Richie get a base hit.
Good to see him get a base hit, and every runner so far for Oak Ridge has scored this inning, minus Richie.
And everybody in the lineup has been on base, all 9, as that pitch is hit hard and foul. Scatters Carson Fagan, who pitched the last couple innings of the first ball game. Carson, look at that hustle. Runs all the way out in the left field to get it. It's your teaching, I think, has made him a hustler.
A little Texas two-step out there to avoid that being hit by that foul ball.
I get that. He's from Texas. That's a good one. The Wildcats have a runner. That's Richie Ferreira. He's down at second. 9-0 Oak Ridge. The pitch bounces away, and Richie's at third. Been a rough inning for our friends from Upper East Tennessee. There's still nobody out. And Warren ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. James Branson doing my color along with Vashon Knowles. My name is David Clary. Our second ball game. Warren will be followed by Caden Black. Started as that pitch is cut on a miss. And he's not even sure of his own count, I believe. He almost looked like he was heading back to the dugout. And I'm not sure myself. Maddox said he was bored, so.
Even Vashon said he thought it was 2 strikes before that pitch.
And now the home plate umpire is going to have to go out. And Vashon thinks it's strike 3, and so did Warren. Warren should have just stood there and just kind of. And I guess he didn't have his indicator going with the balls and strikes. And now looks like Coach Ben Peters is going to talk it over with the umpire. And let's see if Warren is out. That is a strikeout. And that is the right call. Yeah, so tough luck for Warren. Could have sold it a little bit better, but he was already headed back to the dugout. Back to the top of the order we go to Caden Black. That is the first out of the inning. The Sullivan East coach, he's okay with it. I think everybody makes mistakes, and he evidently didn't have strike 3 on his indicator. They keep a little hand thing where that way the umpire can keep up with the balls and strikes, because it's hard with all the fouls that are going off and balls. That's why they have an indicator. And evidently, he just failed to put 1 strike on it. And things like that happen as Caden steps in. Caden has a single, was hit by a pitch. He has scored 2 runs. He has scored. Let's see, has 3 stolen bases in the ball game, with an opportunity to get this 10th run in. Richie Ferreira is the base runner. He had a double, knocked in 2. He's at third. Caden bats with 1 out. The pitch to him in there for a called strike, and the count is even at 1-1. Caden's had really, I mean, the first few ball games of the year, he started out a little slow at the plate, but he has really heated up. He's not going for home runs, just that small ball. He's had several hard-hit singles. He's had some extra base hits. He does have one home run, and he swings and he misses there. Spoke a little too soon. I think he was aiming for the city services building out in right field. And the count is 1-2.
Not that Caden doesn't have power. Caden definitely has power, but he's more of like a contact hitter.
Right. Pitch to him. That one's outside. A ball. And the count is 2-2. Ball game started this morning about 11 o'clock. Halls was a future opponent for the Wildcats was here. They lost their ball game. Would you say 13-7?
Yes.
Pitch is ripped down the right field line. That is a fair ball. It'll roll down in the corner. Richie Ferreira is in. Here comes Caden Black. He has a triple all the way to the corner. Ball was hit and just fair at the 328 sign down the right field line. That is a triple, and Richie Ferreira comes in to score run number 10 for the Wildcats, correct? 10-0. The Wildcats in the lead, and the batter is Mikey Teasley. This is Mikey's second at bat this inning. Mikey has an RBI single. He scored a run, and he has a stolen base. Caden Black, the base runner, at third. And Mikey stands in. The pitch to him is a called strike at the knees.
Now officially, David, everybody that has batted this inning has scored, minus Warren, who scored earlier.
Right, that's crazy. Not quite 14 like the Diamondbacks last night, but we're heading in that direction. Yep, that ball is hit in the air to deep center field, but the center fielder makes the catch. Tagging and scoring will come Caden Black. That is an RBI for Mikey Teasley, his second RBI of the ball game. That is a sacrifice fly and an RBI. And here comes Peyton Witter. Peyton is singled in a run. He's walked. He has knocked in a run. He has a stolen base. 11-0. The Wildcats have the lead, and Caden Black has scored 4 of the Wildcats' 11 runs in this one to now lead it 11-0. Alex Franklin might not come out for the next inning. It's been about an hour since he pitched. This has been an extremely long inning, and they do have a time limit on this game. Right now it's 11-0.
I think we started about 4:15, so we've been at it about an hour and 10 minutes.
So there's a lot of time to go. We're only in the fourth inning, third inning?
Third
Thank
inning.
you. Wow. The scoreboard, obviously the runs per inning are not showing up on the scoreboard. 11-0 our score. The pitch is down low, a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Second game of the day, 9-1 was the final score. South Milwaukee out of Wisconsin, the first opponent. This is Sullivan East out of Upper East Tennessee. Peyton swings. Might have foul tipped it. It's 1-2 to the junior. Parker Free is on deck. Parker walked and scored a run earlier. Controversial walk as that pitch is cut on, and that is a strike. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
These games, David, are really good for Oak Ridge's confidence. I think, you got Sevier County last night, and these two, a lot of guys being able to see good at bats and good hits because Oak Ridge has played a little bit of a rough schedule with Bearden and Maryville.
Well, and Sullivan East, or Sevier County is a good program too. I mean, I think they're 8-2 on the year. That would be a potential sub-state team if the Wildcats could get past the region later on. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Peyton Witter. Third pitcher used, I believe, as that ball is hit on the ground. Foul pass, Coach Free, and pass Caden. Had his glove out and tried to field it. Count is 2-2.
He said 3-2.
I thought he did too. He did. It is 3-2.
He was checking us back here.
The pitch is hit right back to the pitcher. Kind of an excuse me swing. Runs a couple steps, underhands it over to first, And that ends the third inning. And what a productive third inning. The Wildcats score 10 runs in that inning to take an 11-0 lead. And I can't wait to see how James is going to tweet this as the Braves now lead 4-2.
I think we should just say that everybody scored that inning.
I'm going to let you do it. In fact, I'm not even going to type the score on this one. But let's see what we got here.
No, he scored twice.
Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins. Who is that guy out on the mound? I haven't seen him in about an hour. Oh, that's Alex Franklin once again. After a 10-run inning for the Wildcats. And Alex throws his first pitch, a 74-mile-per-hour pitch to the number 4 hitter, I believe scheduled in their lineup. And that, I believe, is DJ Carrier, their pitcher, who came in from center field. Alex Franklin. I would expect we might see some new players come into the ballgame. Count as 1-2.
1 and 2.
Here's the pitch. Ball hit right back to Alex. He feels it, underhands it over to his first baseman, Camden Welch, and that is out number 1. 11-0 Wildcats.
Number 12, third baseman, Jonas Smith.
And it looks like the Braves are going to win their first ball game, at least, of the season. And always good to knock off the Phillies. You wouldn't understand that, Bashan, because who did you all see last year, Bashan, when you all came?
Nats, maybe?
That pitches a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. You know, I took Bashan down to see
Padres?
the Falcons play too, and that ball is ripped hard to left center field. Nobody's going to get that. It's right in front of the 368 sign. Warren has trouble picking it up. Gets it in. That's a double.
Smith doubles.
As the Wildcats,
That will bring out number 13.
yeah, I actually noticed that as he turned his back on me. That the Wildcats do have some different people. Noah Wood is playing shortstop for the Wildcats. Carson Fagan is at second. Camden Welch is at first. Let's see if we got any changes in the outfield. It looks like that's and Cam Britton is in center. Camden Britton, he's sophomore. Looks like Izzy's in left. And out in right field, I guess that's still Richie Ferreira. Alex Franklin pitching for the Wildcats, 11-0. The Wildcats in the lead. Thank you. Pitch is a little bit high and inside. Quiet here. It's been a long day of baseball. I think the fans are a little worn out. Pitch is fouled at the plate. And Maddox said a minute ago he was bored, so I don't blame him. He's running the scoreboard. He's 9 years old, too.
I don't see the pink shoes out there in left field, David. I think that Izzy Mitchell's
yeah,
out there.
That's definitely Izzy, for sure. I can see during the day. And the best part about size shoes is as that pitch is cut on a miss, and that was a really, really nice pitch, and that is out number 2. And that is a strikeout. And for Alex Franklin, I've got him, let's see, with 4 strikeouts on the game. And it's out number 2. Franklin checks the runner at second. He doubled just a moment ago. Pitch. Hit in the infield. It should be out number 3. Mikey Teasley under it, the third baseman, and the sophomore grabs it for the third out of the inning. They pick up a double. They leave him stranded. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning here at Bobby Hopkins, 11-0 Oak Ridge, and we'll be back in a moment. Noah Wood's going to lead things off for the Wildcats.
For Oak Ridge, shortstop, number 13, Noah Wood.
Wood's first plate appearance in this ball game. Got a chance to hit in the first game. 11-0 our score. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning, taking on Sullivan East, the Patriots out of Upper East Tennessee. That pitch stays up high, 1 ball and no strikes.
Olsen just doubled, and it's now 9-2, David.
Yep, and I think the Mets lost, did they not?
It's a good day to be a Brave.
Yeah, well, it's even better that the Phillies lost. I mean, that's the best part of it. So I guess I get a chance to see the Braves here in person a week from today when they take on I believe it's the Diamondbacks, as that pitch is in there for a called strike. A little bit later on, they play the Rangers in April, so it's kind of a very tough April for the Braves.
World Series team.
Yeah, champions. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ball hit on the ground by Noah deep, and shortstop fields it and throws him out for out number 1. Batter now for the Wildcats. Looks like James.
Number 18, James Bowles.
James Bowles batting. Good to see Coach Free emptying some of his bench. Looks like Camden Britton is on deck for the Wildcats. as James will bat for the Wildcats. One out here in the fourth, 11-0. You know, James, we were talking about this being a pitcher's duel before that last half inning when the Wildcats scored 10, because it was just a 1-0 game.
Before the bottom of the third, yeah.
As James swings and he misses, and the count is 0-1. Maybe
wonder-
we'll see the Malcotes get a chance to play in this one.
It'd be nice to see.
Lane is okay. Well, Hayden, I know. Yeah, we'll probably get a chance to see him, hopefully. And I was lobbying with his dad a moment ago. I'd like to see John get an at bat. You know, John hit 500 last year for the Wildcats.
3 at bats, 2 on base, 1 walk, I believe he had.
Yeah,
last
1
year.
for 2. James back in. Pitch to the plate is on the outside corner for a called strike. James Bowles is a senior. Had a little bit of a scare in the preseason. Had what could have been an injury, but he's fine. I believe the count is 0-2. Maybe 1 ball, 2 strikes, Fashawn says. Pitch. Outside. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Been a long day, hasn't it, Bashawn? You didn't expect to do 2 ball games. I told Ben George if he wanted to come and do some camera, he could. He elected not to in the second ball game. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That pitch is way outside, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mentioned Cam Britton is on deck for the Wildcats, swinging in the on-deck circle. James Bowles is behind the plate, and he hits the ball on the infield. And actually shallow left center, and the center fielder makes the catch. When he first hit it, I was looking at the shortstop and the second baseman, and they looked like they were going to be the ones who made the catch, but it really was out in the outfield by about, 30 yards. As here comes Camden Britton to bat.
Number 8, Camden Britton.
We got one of the Malcotes about to bat. Hayden Malcote will be on deck, but Cam's got to get on base somehow. Got a lot of innings to go here at Bobby Hopkins. It's 11-0. And the Wildcats only need really to get 3 out, so I would love to see Cam get on base somehow so Hayden can get a chance to bat. Cam's ahead in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. Right-handed hitting sophomore. He hits the ball down the line. That's a base hit. Cam Britton rounds first. He's heading towards second, but he'll stay at first. That is a single for the sophomore. And Cam has his first hit. And here comes Hayden Malcote for the first time today. Good to see Camden Britton get a base hit. He kind of wore the collar last night, but gets a hit down the third base line. The ball got caught up in the high grass, or I thought he might have picked up a double, but a good way for the sophomore. Here comes Malcote. Lane's not with us. Hayden Malcote, the batter, right-handed hitting senior. Mainstay of this program for the last 4 years. Well, that would be tough to. I hope it would be terrible if Cam were to be picked off and Hayden wouldn't get his at bat. It'd be kind of like the Field of Dreams, if you remember what happened in that movie. Cam's not going. That pitch is all the way back to the screen, and Cam Britton is down at second base. 11-0 the score. Wildcats are 3 outs away from a victory here tonight at Sullivan East, and now we're going to have a mound visit once again. Oak Ridge on top, 11-0 over Sullivan East. We'll take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins. The Wildcats have Camden Britton as the base runner at second with 2 outs. Hayden Malcote, the batter. 1 ball, no strikes on him. RBI opportunity for the big senior. The pitch to him. Breaking pitch in there for a called strike. Lane's not with us. That's too bad. Lane Malcote, his twin brother. They told me he's in Nashville today. Hayden back in. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch. Cut on a missed. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Come on, kid. You got this.
Yeah, that's funny. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Britton takes his lead off of second. 2-2 pitch to Hayden Malcote. Almost hit him. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 11-0 Wildcats. Bottom of the 4th inning. Pitch. And that is a strike, and that is a strikeout, and that is out number 3. Wildcats pick up a base runner. They leave him stranded. We go to the top of the 5th. The Wildcats 3 outs away from a win over Sullivan East. We'll be back on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Or is it the 4th? It is the 5th, right? It is the 5th. Pitch is a called strike. Alex Franklin gone all the way for the Wildcats. John Ulrich got the first win today. Carson Fagan came in to relieve him. That pitch is fouled. It fouled it off his helmet. And the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes, I believe, maybe. 1 ball.
A ball.
You're Coach Spratling.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah. This looks like the number 8 hitter. Is this Ethan Hale batting?
This is Ethan Hale.
He was a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. Let's see if we got any more changes. I want to make sure we get everybody who's playing. It looks like about everybody. It looks like Camden's still in center. Izzy is in left. Richie's in right.
Yeah.
Camden Welch is at first.
That's Carson Fagan.
Carson Fagan, Noah Wood, and looks like Mikey. Pitch is hit foul off into the parking lot, heading toward Brian Leffler's truck, and it's out of play. Yeah, I was just hoping, 1 ball, 2 strikes. James, it's been a good day of baseball. The Wildcats have scored 20 runs in their 2 ball games to this point. That pitch is high and inside.
20 runs and given up 1.
Yeah, that's not bad baseball at all.
Well, you know, Coach Free mentioned last night, you know, when you don't walk people, you don't put runners on base, and you limit the potential scores.
Most definitely. And you know, that was a problem early on. And in the Powerball game for sure, they walked a lot of people, did they not, in the Powerball game?
I think he said they walked 4, and 3 of those guys came around to score.
Yeah, that was an extra inning game. As that pitch sweeps across the plate, evidently a little low and outside. Kyron Welch is the catcher for the Wildcats. Wildcats had used 2 catchers in this one. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count. Alex comes to the plate. A little outside. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 9-2 Braves there, James. Starting out strong. Yesterday's game was called off. That pitch is hit to left field. Izzy in and makes the catch for out number 1. Izzy makes the catch. Did you get that on camera there? Of course you did, Bashan. I know you got to be getting tired. You've been here a while. Doubleheaders. First doubleheader you've worked, though. Number 14 is the batter. Looking for the roster. Let me get it out of my phone here. Ball is hit foul and out of play. No balls, 1 strike. 11-0 Oak Ridge. The pitch is cut on and missed. Alex trying to get the win.
That is Aldair Ortiz.
Aldair Ortiz, the batter. I kind of fumbled on that one, but as Alex comes in, the ball is hit foul, out of play. You want to give him some credit there, James? He's batting.
Aldair Ortiz at the plate.
No balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the 5th. The Wildcats 2 outs away from a win. Cut on foul, tipped at the plate.
I think I did a little bit better job of giving him credit than you there, David.
What's that?
I said I think I did a little bit better job of giving him credit than you.
Of course you did.
Aldair.
I got the Ortiz out pretty well. It was that first name that's kind of messed me up a little bit. All day. Pitch is hit on the ground, foul. Up the third baseline.
How dare you mess that up?
I'm not going to play this game. You know I wouldn't play that game. That's actually is my game, actually. The king of puns. No balls and 2 strikes. Alex Franklin comes to the plate. 0-2 pitch. Hit on the ground to the shortstop and past him into center field, and that is a base hit.
Ortiz with a single.
Ortiz a pinch hit single, and back to the top of the order, the scheduled order anyway.
Stepping in now for Sullivan East, second baseman, number 15, Avery McCoy.
Avery McCoy is the batter. Avery is 0 for 2 in the ball game. He struck out looking in the first and popped out to Welch in the 4th inning. Runner at first, 11-0 the score. Got to keep it at 10 for Sean. I'm going to put you responsible for that, as the pitch is a ball outside, and the count is 1-0. Franklin checks the runner at first. He's not going anywhere. The ball is hit to right field. Richie coming in on it, puts his glove up and can't make the play. It bounces in front of him, tracking it down, and hustling is Carson Fagan. He did a really good job. Carson went all the way out in the right field and helped his right fielder out as it drops in for another base hit. And they've got runners at first and second with 1 out. Better now will be number 5, Zach Johnson. Zach was a strikeout victim in the first. He walked in the third. They've got 2 on and 1 out. Little bloop to right field. But let me let you comment on that. As a ball is hit to center field, Warren makes the catch, throws back to second. Double play, ball game over. The Wildcats have won by a final score of 11-0. A line drive, Warren East came in, or actually Camden Britton came in and makes the catch, throws to second, and they double the runner off at second base. Nice play by Cam. Nice win for the Wildcats. They win it by a final score of 11-0 over the Sullivan East Patriots. Good win there, James Branson.
Great win for the Wildcats. A lot of guys getting to bat in the game, a lot of bench players getting to bat, a lot of guys getting a little bit of time in the field there, and really heads-up play by Camden Britton to continue to develop some maybe that younger talent, get them game experience, and Cam Britton making a nice play there and throwing it into Carson Fagan, who's ready to double him off.
Yeah, nice win for the Wildcats. Nice play and good day, honestly, just for the fact that the Wildcats got a chance to play a lot of different players. They scored 20 runs in 2 games, not even a full game today, and the Wildcats win it 11-0. We'll have our post-game show. We're a little bit earlier than I anticipated, so we will have a post-game show. Stay tuned for that. Let me run down some of the scoring in game number 2, won by the Wildcats 11-0. Caden Black had his typical ball game. He had a single, he was hit by a pitch, and had a triple. He scored 4 runs in the ball game, and he stole 2 bases. Caden Black, the leadoff man for the Wildcats. Mikey Teasley knocked in 2 today with a single, a sacrifice fly. He stole a base and scored 2 runs. Peyton Witter had a single. He walked, knocked in a run, stole a base. Parker Free walked, stole a base, scored a run. Cam Welch had a single and an RBI, and he scored a run. Cy Stevens had a double, scored a run, had an RBI. Kai Welch had a single, scored a run. Izzy Mitchell stole 2 bases for the Wildcats. Richie Ferreira had a double, 2 RBIs, scored a run. Warren East was hit by a pitch, stole 2 bases. Ken Britton had a single, and Alex Franklin gets the win for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge also won the first ball game 9-0. That was a win over the Milwaukee South team. In that ball game, the winning pitcher was John Ulrich. The save went to Carson Fagan. Peyton Witter had 4 RBIs in the ball game. Caden Black was on base a ton. So was Mikey Teasley. Everybody contributed. Everybody in the roster in both games, I believe, contributed. And just a good night of baseball, good afternoon of baseball for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and, like you said, when you get the opportunity to not just win games like this, but, get some of your seniors that have been with your program for a long time, get them in the ball game, get them to play some. When you get some young guys to maybe play a little out of their position, get them an experience in a different position. Noah Wood going from second in the first game to playing short after Caden Black came out. Maybe what you got with him there leading into the future. And Cam Britton playing center. Obviously, Warren's might hold that position down for a while, but getting him experience in different places is always good.
Most definitely, and the pitching was very solid. Alex Franklin throws a shutout. John Ulrich left, didn't give up a run. And Wildcats only give up 1 in 2 games. And here comes the break by the players. We'll have the post-game show. I don't know if we should bring them up here or let them go down there. It depends on what the sun's like. Sometimes when they're down there, they have their hats down and you can't see their faces. So maybe we'll bring them up here. Let's do that. Let's we'll put it in that direction when they come up here. We're doing a little bookkeeping as we wait for whoever's going to join us. We had 2 wins here today. And hopefully the Braves will make it 3 for us, James. As Braves fans, they're up 9-2 in the 9th inning. And let's see who the first player. James, you have something to say?
I do.
Go right ahead.
No, I was just helping getting a little bit ready here as we are waiting on Coach Free and players that he brings up with us.
It has been a long day. Doubleheaders are hard. Hard on my voice for sure. And I don't see. It looks like we might get Aiden up here. It looks like Alex Franklin might be heading our way. We get a chance to speak to him.
Very deserving.
Yes. Let's see if he's going to make his way towards us. I believe he is. And it is going to be Aiden Alexander Franklin. Our first interview, throwing a shutout today. and we'll get him up in the booth. James is making room. We don't usually do him in the press box. We've kind of been doing him down on the field, but the lighting is, for some reason, has not been as good as it has been in the last couple of years when we've done the interviews. So we'll do it from up top here. Now, James, I'll let you turn the camera on him. We'll let him stand where you are. And here comes Avery back in, and we'll get Alex on. Alex, you're going to stand right where Mr. Ulrich is. We'll turn the camera on to you. He is the winning pitcher in today's ball game through a complete game, 5-inning shutout. Alex, you're a senior. Good performance tonight. Talk about your performance in the win tonight over Sullivan East.
I mean, it was an important win for us today. Important win for me pitching. First complete game since my surgery. And, I mean, really good win for us today as a whole because we came off a tough loss Monday. And, I mean, we really just needed that momentum. It
was a pitcher's duel going into that third inning where you all scored 10 times. It was a 1-0 ball game. And that's what James and I were talking about. It was a pitcher's duel. But then your guys just came out. 10 runs in one inning is a rarity, and that's got to make a pitcher feel pretty good when the bats are humming like that. And you don't have to be quite as perfect. Talk about that inning and how important it was to you.
I mean, it was important to me pitching, but, I mean, as a pitcher, I can't get too confident when I'm going back out there. I mean, if I go back there and I'm too confident, I'll just get even worse. And if I'm not locked in, it'll just get worse. And, I mean, really, I had to mentally prepare myself for that next inning, going in after a really long time, not doing anything. I had to go into the bullpen, start throwing a little bit so I could get loose before coming back out. And, I mean, really, it was just I had to get refocused in there.
Yeah, when you came back out there, I said, who is that guy out on the mound? I haven't seen that guy in about an hour. And you mentioned your surgery, coming post-surgery. I remember that pitch you threw that almost went over the netting here when you hurt your shoulder. You had shoulder surgery. Are you back 100%? I mean, Coach Branson was telling me that you had a little scare in the Monday ball game when you threw a ball in from the outfield, but obviously you were okay.
Yeah, so Monday when I threw that ball from the outfield, it was just a thing of just breaking up all that scar tissue in my shoulder. It hurts a lot whenever you do that, and I didn't know what it was, so, I mean, it was scary, and it's something I hadn't run into much. So it was definitely scary then, but it felt even better after that because I gained a lot of mobility, and it just overall felt better.
Let me ask you about something else. I noticed you were not in the lineup. You've been hitting a lot recently. Is that part of the plan if you're starting that you're not going to hit in the lineup?
That's not a me question.
Yeah. I didn't really mean it to phrase it kind of that way. I just didn't know if that was something because of your injury. He didn't want you doing both.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with it because obviously there's a scare of me sliding head first because, I mean, you see me last year. I slide everywhere head first, and it's just kind of my thing. So, I mean, with dislocating my shoulder in that game last year from diving and sliding head first, that's just a scare he has and a scare I have. So it's one of those things, base running, it just kind of makes sense for me not to be there.
Alex, I appreciate it. Congratulations on the shutout win, and we'll talk to you again, I'm sure. Let's see. I've talked to this guy. Seems like more than anybody on the. No, you're going. I'm just joking. This is Peyton Witter. Let's get him on camera. He's.
Am I good right here?
You are good.
Okay.
Peyton had a really good day. I think multiple RBIs. You had a good game last night. Was it 4 RBIs last night?
I think 3 or 4. Yep.
3 or 4. And today, let's see, you had 4 in the first ball game, and you had another one in the second ball game. You pitched the ball really well yesterday. Talk about your performance, and at the plate, you've just been lighting it up.
Yeah, I think the main part of that is just staying true to what I'm doing instead of trying to switch stuff. And, get in a rhythm is a big thing in baseball. And, you saw at the end, if you watched my last at-bat, I was trying to do too much. I couldn't stay in the rhythm, and then you saw how it ended. It's just I got to be able to stay steady and not change little to anything.
You and I have talked before. You're a son of a baseball coach, and obviously you've had baseball your whole life. And the way you just analyzed yourself. It sounds like a coach.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to do maybe later on?
Yeah, it definitely interests me. It's fun just learning more about the game and getting to the point where you're old enough and mature enough that you can almost be your own coach in a way and coach yourself. It helps a lot.
You know, Coach Branson and I were talking about this earlier. Were you a first baseman at Kingston? Is that where you played? Pitcher
Well,
and first?
actually, I played first base my freshman year there, and then last year we, due to how it worked out, I ended up playing left field for most of the year. But now I'm back at first.
Yeah, you've come in relief. You've been basically our closer. You kind of close things out. Will you be a starting pitcher at any time this year?
Well, I mean that's the plan for me every week, and then I end up having to close and I throw too many pitches. But I'm sure at some point it'll get there.
Long day of baseball. You've played plenty of doubleheaders and maybe triple headers in the past in the summer for sure. But you scored 20 runs in 2 games, not even a full second game. You only gave up 1, so you can't get much better than that as a team. Talk about the way the team's playing right now after the loss on Monday.
Yeah, I think really with obviously the loss on Friday, coming back and then losing again on Monday was kind of an eye-opener, because it's not the talent. Obviously, it's how we come from a mental approach, and if we show up and mosey around, that's a problem. So mainly just worry about showing up and being ready to go from inning 1 till the end. So
Peyton, I'm going to let you go. I see Coach Free is here. Have a great weekend. Good luck tomorrow against Portland, I believe it is.
Thank you.
It's Peyton Witter, junior member of the Wildcats. Big RBI day today. I think he had a total of 5 today. He had 2 or 3 yesterday. Let's see who's next. It looks like it is going to be the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free. And the good news is the Wildcats won both games, and the Braves open up the season with a 9-3 win over the Phillies.
All we lack is a Vols win tonight.
Yeah, tonight. That's for
That's
sure.
all we lack. We lack a Vols win, and it's a good, clean sweep.
Well, Coach, let's talk about this day. We didn't get a chance to talk to you, obviously, after the first game. Let's start with that one. John came out, pitched really well, gave up 1 hit, didn't walk anybody. Maybe 1 walk, maybe hit a guy.
I think each pitcher on the day had 1 walk each, so 3 total on the day. I think it was what I have.
5 strikeouts, I think, in the game, and then Carson came in, did a really good job closing it down. A good win. You scored 9 runs, pitched a shutout.
Yeah, 100%. Like both days, offensively, we scored 20 runs and we gave up 1. It's a good day at the ballpark. Number one, and the thing I'd brag on the most is we didn't walk people and put them on free passes. I don't remember an error. If we did, it may have been something just kind of flukish maybe, but I think all in all, we didn't have any errors. We didn't have many walks, and we were able to get a bunch of hits today. So that's kind of, exactly what we needed.
And this is true with any baseball team, but your top of your lineup today in both games was just phenomenal. I mean, Caden, he must have scored 6 or 7 runs in the game. And
he's finding his way again for sure. We all started a little slow, but now 11's finding his way, and he's playing incredibly well. Defensively, he's playing incredibly well. He was able to get on the base. I bet he was on 10 times today, I feel like.
Yeah, I know he scored 4 runs maybe in the first ball game, 4 runs, and today in the second.
At least 2 in the second.
3.
At least 6,
3 runs.
So 7 runs total on the day is pretty impressive. Out of 20, when your leadoff guy does that, it's a pretty good percentage. When he's scoring over 33% of your runs, that's pretty good.
Let's talk about the second ball game and your pitching. Alex coming off surgery and going against Sullivan East. Pitched shutout. 11-0 was the final score, I guess. So pitched well, 5 innings, and got in some trouble, 2-out trouble sometimes. Was able to work his way out of it.
Well, it's impressive, and I think the number one thing that we want to celebrate today is, he made that play out there in the outfield on that fluke game against Powell, and just how he had to make that crazy play and had that throw, and then we think it's injury. Comes back the next day, plays catch, come back the next day, and then once again he was good today and gave us a complete game, able to throw a shutout. I think he only had 1 walk and probably gave up, 3 hits maybe. So once again, a great day for him and a great outing for him. The
way the game ended, you got a chance to play a lot of different guys in different positions. I like the way the game ended. Ball was hit to Camden Britton out in center field. He makes the catch as a line drive. He doubles the guy off at second with Carson Fagan, I think, taking the throw. So, you got those guys making a big play to end the game.
Yeah, man, our depth is something we've never had here. It's incredible what the depth is, but there's no let off on defense. If you notice, like Izzy makes a big play as soon as he goes in. There's no let up on who can do, anything out there defensively, and they know, and they've been they practice hard, they do the right things, they try to get themselves better, and they're in positions to make plays. And Cam can make plays. When he has to make plays, he makes them.
Coach, tell me about Portland tomorrow.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to go home and do some research on there. I don't know a lot. About them. Do you kind of know where they're at, David? Do you know where Portland's at?
Way out there.
West, like Jackson,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like way west Tennessee. So I do not know a lot about them. I don't have a lot of connections that far west. I'm going to do some research tonight, try to figure out what we're up against. But, it's going to be the fifth game of the week is always, can we find guys to fill up the strike zone, number one. Number two, can we offensively show up like we did today and put some runs on the board? I think that we should be the better opponent. I think we should be the better team in the matchup. But based on what I've seen, I'm going to do some research on what they did and who they've played in this tournament so far and kind of figure out what we can see from there.
Just final comments about today.
Great. Pitching was great. Like, really what it boils down to, we don't walk them. We're going to have a chance to win every single game. And every loss that we've had this year, our walk total has been almost a handful, 4 to 6, somewhere in there all the time. That puts too much pressure on our defense and our offense to make it. Today, we had 3 total walks in 2 ball games, and we had 20 total runs. That's a recipe to win and win a lot. So, and defensively, and, I got to brag on Caden Black. It was the best player on the field all day long on both sides anywhere around today.
Coach, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Roll Wildcats.
Wildcats sweep a doubleheader today, knocking off South Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the first game and knocking off Sullivan East in the second. James, any final comments?
Just a great day to be a Wildcat, as Coach Free said. Pick up, you're basically on a 3-game win streak now, looking to make it 4, and heading in on a strong note going into Central twice next week and Maryville as well.
And Portland tomorrow, of course. That about does it. We like to close it out here. The Wildcats win both games. Appreciate Vashon being with us for both games. James Branson. Nicholas L. Ray Suttles was up here as well. Wildcats win. Until the next time, this is David Clary saying so long, everybody.